Spurn Point reaches out into the North Sea and marks our entrance to the Humber estuary. We've arrived at our final destination, the port of Hull. Because this seafaring city faces east, Hull's been a vital link in a chain connecting Europe with the rest of the world. In the 19th century, millions of people were desperate to escape Eastern Europe and make a fresh start. This great port of Hull became the unlikely gateway to a new life of freedom and opportunity in America. Howard Wolinski's grandfather Henry was one of those migrants, en route from Lithuania to Boston. Though we never met his grandfather, Howard has arrived in Hull to retrace his footsteps. So is that a photograph of your grandfather?
That's right.
And what age is he there?
He's almost 70 years old in Boston.
What do you hope to find here in Hull?
Well, more answers. I'd like to know more about what his life was like the brief time he was in Hull. My sister and one of my sons and my wife are here now, and the four of us went to Lithuania last year and actually went to the town he was from and walked where he walked. And now we're sailing where he sailed.
Like many people migrating to the New World, Howard's grandfather was an Eastern European Jew escaping Tsarist Russia. The Jews had been confined to a region along Russia's western border, which included much of present-day Lithuania. Conditions were poor, and brutal repression set in motion a mass exodus. Between 1870 and 1914, for over 2 million European refugees, Hull was a lifeline. To get to America, Howard's grandfather bought a one-way ticket. The first stage was a train to Hamburg, and then on to Hull, a 32-hour voyage across the North Sea. We're meeting local historian Nick Evans to retrace the next stage of Howard's grandfather's journey.
So having navigated a series of locks and docks, this is where on the 1st of August 1892 your ancestor would have landed. The vessel would have moored alongside this dockside here, and your ancestor would have disembarked here and then gone right here, this very spot.
So this is where your grandfather would have taken his first steps on British soil.
So I am walking the walk.
You are walking the walk, and we know from documentation in the local archives that he arrived on Monday the 1st of August. You can see here the Sprite, a steamship from Hamburg, which actually arrived on the 1st of August at Princess Dock alongside the passengers. There were all different commodities, including fruit, a piano, and a variety of different other commodities. And these are some of the images he would have seen upon arrival.
So this is 19th century Hull?
This is from 1890. This is the pit sites he would have seen.
Is that building there?
Yeah, this is the docks office at the time.
So was the Port of Hull at that time the equivalent of an airport transit lounge, just for people passing through?
It was a major transport artery, just like Heathrow or Schiphol or JFK Airport are now. That was the real hub of this transport movement, on which alongside many millions of migrants would come along.
Well, it must have been an exciting thing to know you were on this journey to America. Even though you put up with the seasickness and everything else, I think you have to keep your eye on the prize.
21-year-old Henry Wolinski wasn't alone. Along with oranges and pianos, millions of names record the people who, for a few brief hours, passed through the Port of Hull en route west.
And then immediately after disembarkation, they would have walked along streets such as this, where they would have gone to nearby lodging houses and received food.
Just like being in transit in an airport today, people passing through Hull over 100 years ago on their way to the New World had time on their hands and needs to be met.
Ultimately, this was where most of the migrants would have enjoyed a much-needed meal. Howard's grandfather would certainly have come in here because it was the only one which was run by a Jewish lodging house keeper and provided Jewish kosher food.
Are there any records of what they ate? What was on the menu?
Dry bread, herring, familiar foods for these migrants.
No bagels?
No bagels, unfortunately, no.
Once fed, Howard's grandfather was moved to the railway station to start his onward journey to America. The migrants were moved through Hull under escort and kept increasingly apart from the locals. Cholera was the big fear. There'd been outbreaks of the disease in ports across Europe, and cholera was a killer. Public concern over disease resulted in a purpose-built platform being added to the train station, along with a special waiting room for migrants. These days, it's a pub.
I wonder what your grandfather would have thought if he'd known that in 120 years' time, one of his grandsons would be in the same building that he waited in before he went to the New World.
Well, I would hope that he would find it ironic and satisfying that the generations continued. Many of his other descendants of his brothers were killed in the Holocaust, so we're survivors.
After a rest, Howard's grandfather made his way to the platform. Here, he joined a long roll call of names who continued their journey westward. The train took them to Liverpool, where they boarded a steamship bound for America. Howard's family are joining him, where his ancestors stood on the brink of this new beginning. A successful American family, here today thanks to one young man's journey from the old world to the new.
This platform is completely overgrown, and the story is overlooked by history, but it's no surprise, because for the millions of people who passed through here, this was just a stepping stone. The real story was going to happen somewhere else, somewhere far away.